It is considered common knowledge that many southern states lean considerably toward the Republican Party, and there are studies that verify this idea, but I wanted to see for myself. I interviewed college students from varying backgrounds to get a better picture of the political stances of the younger generation. Here's what I found. First, I wanted to know what political party these students align themselves with.
Usually Republican.
I think I guess I'm more lean to Republican.
I align myself more with the Democratic Party, but I think in this upcoming election I would vote Republican.
I don't associate myself with any.
Okay.
I look at the people as who they are.
But how many are actually going to vote in this election? Are you going to vote in this election?
Probably not.
I'm still trying to register to vote.
Voting, no, I didn't register to vote in this election, though I have been paying attention every now and then.
Probably not.
Yes, I'm definitely going to vote for Trump in this election.
I am not.
Hopefully, yeah. I need to get around to that, but yeah, I will.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so it turns out that the majority of students are going to be voting in this election, but I also asked them why they would vote or why they would not vote. Here are some answers. And do you have a reason why?
No, not really. I just don't really vote because I always feel like they're not going to choose our votes. I feel like they already decide on what president they're going to put in the office.
Lack of knowledge on the topics usually.
Well, I would like to start voting, but I just don't have that much knowledge on politics in general. I took government my senior year in economics, and I really don't know much about politics. And also, as a Christian, I look at everything through a biblical perspective and not political. So when it comes to elections, I really don't understand it, and I would want to be knowledgeable and be able to understand everything they're talking about before I could vote. I don't want to vote on something and not know anything about it.
There were a lot of students, though, that said they were undecided. So this leads me to my next question, and maybe you're thinking it too. Why would they not vote? Yes, we got some answers, but I also have an idea. Some of the students I spoke to did not know that the two major parties already chose their presidential candidates. Some of that ignorance may be by choice, but in my opinion, young people don't pay attention to politics because there is nothing that they relate to. Most of the topics discussed will not have a major impact on the lives of us as young people. And as the next generation of leaders, I really think that should change. I was wondering if I was the only one who felt that way, so I decided to ask a couple of questions to see if I was alone in that thought. The first one is, do you think that the politicians running for president at this moment speak on issues that impact you as a young person?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of bigger problems right now that maybe this younger generations aren't as affected right now, but I think hopefully coming up in the future they'll start to get on those topics a little bit more once they become presidents.
No, not necessarily. I think what they do now will shape my beliefs as I get older.
Should there be more discussion on topics that interest young people?
Yeah, I think it'll bring some voters in, ones that are going to be affected more than the elderly, of course, and then but yeah, I think they should, and I feel like it will hopefully come more once they hit presidents.
I feel like more, but I don't know what I want to say.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
I like her answer.
Are the topics being discussed now enough to satisfy you?
Not really. I'd like them to talk more about actual issues as opposed to just who they think would do better as a public figure.
What topic would you like our leaders to speak more on?
I would say how they're going to handle inflation and what their plan is, how they're going to deal with that.
I think the epidemic of pornography right now and the fact that there's no federal age verification for people who are getting on these sites, and a lot of time it's children at this point in time. And I think that there should be a lot more talk about how widespread of an issue this is on the internet.
I'd like them to talk more about what they're going to actually do in office instead of just campaigning for who they think the people would necessarily like as a person better.
I say on student rights.
Do you think there is something we can do now as young people to bring the topics that we feel passionate about to the attention of our leaders and potential leaders?
I think there are. Any person in political power has a phone number, an email, or an assistant you can reach out to and talk to if you have any concerns that you want to discuss with them directly, or just if you have questions. But we also live in a world where social media is very prevalent, and everyone uses it. If you really wanted to, you could go on Instagram, go on Twitter, just reach out to them through there.
Yeah, there's definitely some things we can do. There's a couple options. You can make surveys, bring a lot of people into the topic, see how they feel about it. You can do seminars to talk about these certain topics, protests to talk about these certain topics. There's many things you can do to try and bring attention to your leaders.
Definitely. So, I mean, social media, post about it, man. If you post 100 times, you're bound to have at least one post that goes viral. It's the little things that build up, I guess. It's a terrible answer to your question, but...
No, it's a very good answer. Okay, great. So now that I have answers to these questions, I wanted to give the students the opportunity to express their thoughts on each candidate. First, if you could describe Kamala in one sentence, what would it be?
I don't think she knows what she's doing or saying that will benefit our country.
Horrible. Terrible. She's the last thing we need in this country. Trump 2024.
It would be a very passionate candidate for presidency.
Ignorant.
A little silly, I think Kamala is.
Perfect. Okay, then I'm glad we're on the same page.
I as well think that Kamala's a bit silly.
If you could describe Trump in one word, what would it be?
I would say goated. For sure.
Perseverance.
If I had to pick one word that would fit Trump accurately, I'd say confident. I think it's a little cliche, but I think what Trump brings to politics, you have a lot of candidates who are trying to, well, you've got your policies, you've got your main issues you're working on. Trump has that sort of energy that other candidates, well, I mean, you're in politics, so candidates are going to try and engage their audience, but Trump has a sort of uniqueness to how he approaches things. I think there's a very definite style. You'll hear people giving impressions on Trump. The way he does things, he's clearly a businessman first, and then he's a politician. So he comes from a different background, and he uses that to help his political career.
I would say Trump is very humorous, funny guy.
What are your views on Kamala, and what are your views on Trump?
Kamala seems to be more of the person of power behind Biden, and yet at the same time, it doesn't seem like she's as coherent as she could be. But I don't know if I have super strong opinions on her. And for Trump, I mean, he's a bit more significant with a lot of the policies he's made. He's very strong in his opinions and beliefs. Sometimes that can lead to bad things, as to making remarks that may be insensitive, but at the same time, he does get quite a bit done.
I'm kind of really mutual on both. I don't really think that either of them have great proposals for their presidency if they do win it. I think that right now the politics that we are living in is more like a show between who can spread the biggest lies about the other candidate. And so far, I have not seen that many great policies that either of them or any work that they have put in to help us, to help the elderly, to help children, women, men in general. And so I don't really have much to say about either of them. I think they're equally in a place where you can really have an opinion formed without like kind of putting yourself in a lie of what has been told by the other party.
My views on Kamala specifically, I like that she could be the first female president. That's a big deal. Also, her whole plan for women's rights. Trump, I'm not the biggest fan of that guy. I'm a little worried about all I've heard about, the whole Project 2025 thing. I'm just kind of worried about him in general.
So now the question that everyone probably is most interested in. Who are you going to vote for? And if you're not voting, who would you be more inclined to vote for?
I am voting for Trump, mainly because of my family. It's just kind of what I've grown up around. I also support a bit more of like his ways more than Kamala's, so.
I got no clue. Honestly, at this point, it doesn't really matter, I don't think.
Donald Trump.
Honestly, I don't like either of our candidates, if I'm being honest. I don't think either of them are going to help us that much, but I think I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris.
I'm going to be voting for Trump 2024.
I'm going to vote for Trump.
I'm probably going to vote for Trump because my whole family's on his side, and based off the debates that I've seen from him, I like his point of views and everything and how he expresses himself compared to everyone else. And with like JD Vance, like the debate from the other night, I feel like he actually knew what he was talking about, and like he actually wants to help the Americans. There's things that I might not agree with him, but everyone's going to disagree on some things, so that's probably why I'm voting for Trump.
Thank you to everyone who participated. It really means a lot. And you all did so well, by the way.
I'm mostly neutral. I think both parties are kind of hypocritical at certain points, and I'm mostly remaining neutral. There is this prevalence of there needs to be a winner or something like that, where it's like, oh, I'm a Republican. I don't agree with Trump personally, but I am Republican. So I see a lot of Republicans, and I also see this on Democrats. So I don't agree with them, but we have to vote for him because if we don't, they're going to win. It's always a mindset of they're going to win, we're going to lose, or something like that. And I think it's not helping us. I think we need to, if you don't like the person, don't vote for them. Voting for a lesser of two evils is still voting for evil, kind of thing.
If you guys want to share your answers to the questions, or maybe pose another question, make sure to do that in the comments. Well, that wraps up the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos.